Big shifts coming this August 22nd new moon. Stay tuned for all the details. The Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to New Moon Musings for the new moon that is happening on August 22nd. I'm very excited to be connecting with you guys today. For those of you who are new to me, you'll want to stay tuned to the very end of the video where I do a 1 minute little snippet to let you know how you can make this reading work for you throughout the entire cycle. And for those of you who are returning, so happy to have you back. This is going to be a really interesting new moon cycle. And all I can say to you is, from a psychic perspective, there's a lot that's coming up and coming through. So without further ado, let's get to it. I am going to be pulling cards today from the Tarot of the Guiding Muse, and this is Ted Sue. This is a new deck that I've been working with, and I'm really excited to be pulling for this new moon with this deck. And I wanted to just talk a little bit, as I normally do, about the full moon, or the new moon. So the new moon is in Leo. It is the last day in Leo before we go into Virgo season. So it's kind of that, almost that blue moon effect and that blue moon energy. And what do we need to know about that new moon? It's bold self-expression, time to really get clear and out in the world about who you are and how you want to express yourself. Embracing your passions. Leo is all about embracing those passions. And I want to say it's the Leo new moon, and then we're moving very quickly into Virgo. So Virgo is about taking those passions and bringing the details to them, being able to manifest it, to bring it into being, rather than it being sort of out there and maybe ungrounded. Virgo brings some grounding and some foundation to that. Taking center stage of your own life, being in that center stage of your own life. That's a huge theme. That's been a huge theme for all of us this year, which is interesting because it's a big year for the collective. But in order to, I want to say, survive the collective, the focus needs to be on the individual and what is it that I'm choosing to do and how am I choosing to contribute out into the world. So I feel that there's going to be more of that energy and frequency throughout this particular cycle. It's also highly creative energy that you are then going to be practical about, and it's vision setting, a time for huge vision setting. And you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been talking about this all freaking year. We have to stay focused on the vision of what we're creating in order to A, stay sane, and B, to stay in the right frequency and energy, and to make use of all that is coming down, all that is toppling, all that is crumbling. We are now making use of that. We are all alchemizers, and we're making use of that to build something new. And even though we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, we can absolutely be in the space of laying foundation in our own lives because it's a mirror reflection. So I feel like that's important. And one final thing is heart-led actions. Leo energy for that last day that we've got. Be very heart-led in your actions. Don't take an action unless your heart is involved in it. I feel like it's as simple as that. So let's dive in and see what we have for our release card. And our release card is, what am I releasing from the previous cycle? Oh yeah, these cards are speaking to us. Four of Wands. Interesting. So I feel like we are releasing this idea. It's almost like a shattered illusion that there was, I want to say, a solid foundation, that there was a path forward together. We've been in a space of, I want to say, a lot of division of late in the collective. And we're seeing now that, there are other energies, other forces that are affecting that, which I feel is having almost that boomerang effect. And it's causing people who normally would be on opposite sides of the fence to start to come together. You know, what's that saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so I feel like we are releasing this idea that we need to be beholden to any kind of contract that was signed, I want to say like prior to 2020. like there's this real energy of releasing the past in a very clear-cut, direct way. And that Four of Wands energy, this is normally like the marriage card. It's also the contracts card for me. I know a lot of people read the Six of Pentacles as a contracts card. That's not contracts for me. This is contracts. It's we're moving from one phase of our relationship into another phase of our relationship. And we are consecrating that in some capacity. We are signing on the dotted line. And I feel like we're releasing any contracts that we have made, wittingly or otherwise, to anything connected to the past, because it doesn't matter anymore. From a collective perspective, it is about the new. What is to come? Like, what can we do with now, and how can we make that work for us moving forward? And what do we want to establish for ourselves moving forward? That's where we're at right now. That's just the way it is. Soul card, what is the collective learning and growth for this new moon? And the soul growth card, or the soul card, I should say, is always my favorite of this entire thing, the entire cycle, because it really is, I want to say, at the core of the issue. You know, if you're watching this, there's a part of you that is on some type of, you know, I want to say self-awareness journey. This is the card that helps you to understand what the collective is going and growing through. And that can fuel you, or that can shine a light for you on how that's going to affect you on an individual level. Eight of Wands. Wow. Swift release. It's exactly what I was saying here. We're saying goodbye to the old contracts that we signed, whether we signed them, 3 years ago or not. We're releasing that because it no longer applies. And because we are releasing it so swiftly, and we are using fire to do it, that wand energy, we're using our passions, we're reigniting and realigning ourselves to what really matters. And I feel like in August, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going on. So I want you to just kind of be prepared for that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of up and down, even more so than there has been. But I feel like the ups are celebratory in nature. The downs are requiring decision-making around that. And as a result, we have to let go of everything else that simply just doesn't matter. This is going to be a cycle of prioritization. And it's like prioritization in quick succession. I want to say it's like triage. When you're in a crisis situation, say, for example, you're in an earthquake situation or a hurricane situation. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you're looking around at. I always like to say, you're in the eye of the storm and you're looking at, okay, there's poor Bessie the cow going around, getting caught up in the funnel. I got to help Bessie. And there's, Farmer Joe in his pickup truck. Well, we got to help him. Oh my God, there's the roof of my house going by. Do I want to spend the time to try and save the roof, or do I want to accept that the roof is gone and I'll just, replace it when I go, right? It's having to make priorities and split decisions about priorities in the now moment, and recognizing, okay, the things and the stuff doesn't matter. What is, relevant and prevalent right now. So we're going to have a lot of that energy. And this isn't to scare you. I feel like this is coming through to give us sort of a heads up so that we can be prepared. Eights are about mastery. Eights give us and it's abundance. Eights give us an opportunity to really align with our true path, with what it is that we really are trying to create for ourselves. And that's exactly what I'm feeling here. Is that Eight of Wands is saying, release the stuff that isn't aligned with where you want to go, because it's not going to get you there anyway. You want to release things. You want to be quick on the draw McGraw is what you want to be doing. Okay, that's interesting. Now we're at our new moon card. I manifest. What energies are here to support my manifesting? and how can I lean into their wisdom? This is happening, the new moon is on August 22nd through to the 25th. And on the 22nd, as we talked about, it is that Leo new moon. We talked about the expression, the heart-led actions, vision setting, right? So if we're going to manifest, and we're going to manifest using our self-expression, using our passions, being at the center of our own lives and not giving away our power to other people, places, and things, not people pleasing, then our creativity can really expand and grow. So our card is the Two of Coins. And this is really interesting because the Two of Coins is resource. It's also about balance. And when we look at her and we look at this particular card, she's on a skateboard. And I love this. It makes me laugh every time I pull this card because I am not athletically inclined at all. And I want to say to you, the one experience I had on a skateboard many, many years ago, I was on it for about 3 seconds. I fell backwards. I hit my tailbone and sprained my freaking tailbone. And that was the end of my skating career. Maybe my balance isn't so good when I'm on the wheels. I don't know, but there you have it. So I feel like as I'm looking at this and talking about this Two of Coins, it really is about balance, knowing what is going to bring you balance and knowing clearly what isn't. And to use my analogy of the skateboard, I mean, obviously she's got a little more pizzazz than I do, but she's got her arms, like she's definitely like, she's trying to figure it out. Like she doesn't look like she's grooving. She actually looks like, ooh, the wind is taking me a little bit. And so I'm feeling a little out of control here. I'm very out of balance and I'm trying to adjust myself to get my center of gravity back. I feel like this is exactly what the new moon is going to bring to us in that regard. And it's understanding if I'm going to manifest things, what do I need to lean into? I need to lean into the fact that, yeah, there is a lot that's going on around me. I need to not focus on anything else other than how do I get to my center of gravity? How do I find my balance so that I don't fall off this skateboard and, crack my tailbone open or my head open or whatever else. And notice that she doesn't have a helmet. She doesn't have knee pads or arm pads. She has no protection of any kind. So it feels a little like she did this a bit haphazardly. She wasn't thinking in advance about it, but now she's on the ride. And sometimes like we're in it to win it. Yeah, she can step off of it at any time. But when that wind is sweeping up, you're not thinking about that. You're in triage mode. You're in the earthquake is happening. And, I can't be thinking about building foundation during an earthquake. I'm thinking about where can we go for safety? Where are the people that I love? And how do I get them to safety? That's what's going on in your head, right? When you're in that situation. And I don't mean to imply that the new moon, from the 22nd to the 25th is going to be dun, dun, dun. It's going to be an awful situation and we're going to be in crisis mode. I feel more like some of that crisis stuff has kind of come and gone a little bit. And we're now, again, just trying to find our balance and find our way. But the only way to do that is by focusing on you. The rest will follow. I'm hearing the age-old adage, when you're on the plane, if the oxygen masks fall from the compartments, put yours on first before helping others, because you might help 2 or 3 others and then you passed out just like everybody else, versus if you put it on yourself, you might be able to save the entire plane. You never know. So that feels really important. Okay, now we're at our waxing crescent, and the waxing crescent is on August 26th through the 29th. I plan. What do I need to consider when creating my plan for this cycle? Any challenges or opportunities that I need to be aware of? We have 7 of Wands. Wow, okay. So 4 of Wands, 8 of Wands, 7 of Wands. 2 of Coins where we're feeling out of balance, where the wind is sweeping us up. Wind and fire. What happens with wind and fire? It makes fire grow. So even though Coins is earth, I want to say to you, what I'm focused on here is the wind, right? And you're trying to find your grounding and your balance throughout all of this. The 7 of Wands is typically a card of defense. I also have to point out here in this card, she is trying to balance herself. So we have two cards back to back that are addressing issues of balance. Now, she actually looks like she's a bit nimble, and I feel like that's because she's packing light. But if you notice, there's another figure next to her in shadow. We can argue that it is her shadow that is falling back. You know, maybe not so nimble, maybe lost its balance, lost its center. Is that shadow falling going to take her with it? Or is that shadow falling indicating that you're letting go of the shadow and you're able to hold your balance because you addressed the shadow? Or maybe you chose, you prioritized and said, I don't have time to think about the shadow right now. I don't have time to think about the negative stuff that's going on. I just need to focus on where I'm at, where I'm going and growing. I have to point out as well, she's wearing purple. Purple is all about the intuition, the royalty, the sovereignty. I have the right to breathe the air that I breathe and to take up the space that I take in this world and in my own life. And I feel like when we're talking about this in that waxing crescent, I plan. I feel like it's important for you to take the time to say, what is going to be the best plan of action for me at this time? Not worrying about anybody else. And it's not that you're like making decisions that are going to cause harm to another person. It's not about being mean. It's not about giving yourself permission to let all of the boogeymen out, right? Or the demons to come to the surface. It's not about that. But I will say to you, it is about, again, priorities, recognizing how things are going and flowing from that perspective. So if she doesn't want to fall into the abyss, if she doesn't want to fall into the water, she's got to keep her wits about her. And if the shadow goes by the wayside, so be it. You know, I know it'll be there at another point. We'll regroup at another time. But right now, it's more important for me that I remain balanced and focused on what I need to do for me. I just feel like priorities is the word. And in fact, I'm going to jot this down because I feel like priorities is going to be the, sort of the title of this video. It is at the heart of it. And what do we talk about? The 8 of Wands, swift release. What is my focus? What is my priority at this time? Now we are at our first quarter. Our first quarter moon is August 30th to September 2nd. So I want to say, I should have said earlier in our waxing crescent, actually I should have said it right at the new moon. Happy birthday, Virgos. So here we are. I act. What fuels my motivation? And how can I collaborate with source energy to empower my actions? 6 of Wands. Okay, peeps. So Wands is the fire energy. So it makes sense that we're coming off of a Leo energy. It is still summertime. Like we're on the waning end of summertime, but we're still in summer. The sun is still in full effect. It's a harvest time. Aries is a fire sign as well, and Sagittarius fire sign. So we're dealing with a lot of passions, a lot of heightened feelings, expressions, emotions. We are dealing very much with how we choose to be victorious, and everybody's version of a win is different. And I feel like when we're talking about this, I act, just making sure I've got my ducks in a row. Yes, I act. What energy fuels my motivation? You want to win. And I want to say, we as a collective, we as a people, we need a win. So focusing on losses, focusing on what isn't, focusing on what will never be again, keeps us from this energy of victory. And we see here she's running a marathon, right? We don't see here necessarily that she's won the marathon yet. She's turning a corner. You can see that she's got another, couple of miles to go. She's still on the journey. She's still moving forward. But man, oh man, does she have a lot of people cheering her on, a lot of people living vicariously through her. And I feel like this is where we're at in the collective at this time. I'm hearing that work-related issues are going to be coming up here as well. I'm just going to throw this out there. I feel like there might be a discussion of maybe like a community work strike, people coming together to take some time off of work. Yes, we're talking about September. It's a busy time, people back to school, things of that nature. But again, if we're talking about priorities this month, it's recognizing, okay, what really matters right now? School might not matter right now. There might be something that's more important to focus on than worrying about getting the kids, in school or whatever the case may be. So from a work perspective, I'm feeling that there may be discussion of, or maybe even an actual work strike, communal work strike that is happening. If I'm completely wrong on that, then, shit happens. And I would say to you that you really want to be considering from a work perspective, what is the most important? What is the swiftest path to victory? But swiftest path does not mean walking on people. Swiftest path means, where can I put my focus? Because what is my focus? If I am about taking center stage in my own life during this cycle, what is the best use of my time and my focus and my energy in this space and in this place? Interesting. I definitely feel that there's a lot of buzzing energy that is coming up and coming through. So I'm going to say, be kind to each other and just take care of yourselves. I don't feel like imminent danger, but I do feel that there's a lot of brouhaha, and you want to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and that you have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. It's kind of what I'm feeling here. Okay, and now we are at our waxing gibbous card. This is I choose. What energy can I lean into for confidence as I discern my commitments? And this is September 3rd through to the 6th. So this is kind of over Labor Day time, Labor Day weekend. We have 10 of Swords. First Swords cards. 10 of Swords is that rebirth card. It's the end to something. And if we look at this depiction in particular, we see this woman, her heart, she's been stabbed through the heart because she's potentially watching her lover having an affair. And it symbolizes okay, it's done, it's over. I can't unsee this. I can't pretend that I didn't see this. And yeah, my heart is broken. I feel cut, I feel wounded. The roots that I thought were always there for me, I've been uprooted now. It's not there. But the 10 of Swords also has that beautiful phoenix energy to it, which says, all right, you have a definitive answer now. You don't have to waste any more time, energy, worry, fear, money, resource, whatever, to trying to get the answer to this. You now know it. So when we know better, we do better, right? Go with what you know. What you know is this, and this is not where you want to be. You want to be here. So what can you do now, having this information? What's the next step? And it doesn't have to be a perfect next step. And yeah, she's going to be a hot mess as a result of this. It's going to take her a while to heal her heart when she discovers that her lover is having an affair with another person, right? I mean, we would all feel that, but life goes on. And sometimes we can allow that to fuel the rebirth, fuel what we are, who we choose to become as a result of that. So I feel at this particular time, especially when we're talking about that I choose energy, it is going to be about choice. I can't unsee what I've seen. It is what it is, sucky as it might be, or as exciting as it might be, and it constitutes an end. So I can accept that end very quickly in the now, and I can decide how I want to move forward, or I can just remain stuck in this. And what I keep seeing is the choice that she has here is, does she even bother to wait for him so that he knows, or her so that she knows that they've been caught? Or do you recognize, I don't need to have this conversation anymore. I don't need to expend any more energy to this issue. I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm going home. I'm packing my bags and I'm out the door, or I'm packing their bags. And when they get home, they're going to be out the door, whatever it happens to be. there's decision here, but it's your choice, and the decisions are going to happen as a result of the choices that you're making. Decisions that other people have to make are going to be as a result of the decisions that you're making. And that feels important. All right, now we are at our full moon, and the full moon card is I receive. How can I best open to the energies of this full moon to receive clarity, guidance, or direction? What gift does this full moon offer to me? Okay, and so the full moon is happening on September 7th. And this card energy is going to last from the 7th through to the 10th of September. And let's talk about this full moon. The full moon is going to be in Capricorn, which really is about emotional maturity, career. I was just tapping into career stuff. So it's going to talk a little bit about career stuff and life purpose. Now let's have a conversation a little bit about life purpose. That it's a term that gets overused, right? What's my purpose? Your purpose is to experience as much joy as you want in your life. Period. End of story. We attach all sorts of things to what our purpose is. If you feel called to do more and be more, then by all means, if that's what brings you joy, then do so. But it's not like, the angels and guides are saying, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do the other thing. It doesn't work that way. We create that, but it doesn't have to be that way. I like to say none of it matters. And so if none of it matters, then that means that every decision I make, every choice that I make, every desire that I have matters. That's where I bring the meaning into it. So give that some food for thought. Also, one other thing that I downloaded, so the full moon is on 11:10 a.m. Eastern Standard, which is 4:10 p.m. UTC time. Another thing I downloaded about this full moon energy is that it's releasing conditioned responses for more authenticity. So you're going to be noticing during this time, gee, why do I do that? Why do I say that? Why do I behave in this manner? I haven't really thought about it before. I guess it's time to bring some awareness, because this is a conditioned response, or this is a triggered response, a trauma response, or I don't know why I do it this way. My mother taught me this when I was 3, and I didn't know that there was any other way to do it. And it didn't occur to me to ask the question until now. So it can be all those things and everything in between. But I do feel that there's going to be opportunity for you to explore what is going to bring you more authentic being within yourself, within your core. We're in Virgo energy in a Capricorn full moon. So you've got a lot of earth energy, a lot of ability to bring tangibility to a situation. There's focus on the details. It's the recognition of what have I built? Is it working for me? Is it getting me to where it is that I want to go, or is it sustaining me? And when you have those conditioned responses, it's kind of like, yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a while, and actually that doesn't really work for me anymore. So there are going to be some opportunities for epiphany moments. Not always are you going to take the epiphany, but it's going to be available to you if you're looking for it. Okay, so our full moon card, again, I receive. How best can I open to the energies of this full moon to receive clarity, guidance, or direction? And what gift does this full moon offer to me? The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so first of all, it's a 10. New beginnings based on an already established foundation. This is liquid luck. This is change. This is the opportunity for you to take calculated risk and to have success. What did we look at? We had that 6 of Wands, the victory. She isn't quite at the victory yet, but she's on her way to the victory, and she's got a lot of support. The Wheel of Fortune says, okay, are you still, you're still on the path. Is this still where you want to be? Is this still the victory that you want to have? Now's the time to evaluate. Now's the time. Again, if we're going for authenticity in this moment, we have to recognize, is this the time that we really are having? Sorry, my computer screen just shut down. So yeah, we are, as I am recording this, I am in Mercury retrograde. So it is what it is. All right, so Wheel of Fortune. I feel also like with this coming through during a full moon energy, there is that desire to drive through, to push, to bulldoze. Especially when we have that liquid luck, there's the energy to like, I want to do it all. I want to do everything, like take advantage of it all because it's not going to last forever. And I keep hearing here that there is a component of this Wheel of Fortune that's coming through that says you do need to observe. You don't need to jump right in and be rash about it or impulsive in these ways. Again, calculated risk means you've taken time to calculate what the best plan or the best approach is going to be. Now, because this is about receiving energy, I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is saying whatever it is that you're planning, whatever it is that you are looking to achieve or to be or to build, if we're talking about that Capricorn energy, the Wheel of Fortune is going to support you in that. It's going to give you what it is that you need. So you don't want to take too much time, but it's okay to take a little bit of time to just sort of sit back and observe and reflect a little bit, take it in. So that, I want to say you get the full picture and that the full full inspiration is able to unfold and let you know where it's coming from and maybe where it wants to be. We are co-creative beings living a co-creative existence. And I feel like we need to be more aware of that it is a co-creative process. For some of us, it's remembering that we do have a team of helpers that's willing to help us. We don't have to do it all by ourselves. For some of us, I feel like it's the opposite. It's recognizing that I can participate in this. I don't have to sit back and wait for something to happen. It's about me saying, hey, I'd love to have this. What can you do for me? Let's work together to make it happen. So a lot, even though it's receiving, I feel a lot of it is around the concept of how you're planning out your manifestings, how you are engaging in that co-creative process for yourself. Are you engaging for yourself? Interesting. All right, now we are at our disseminating moon. I acknowledge, how best can I honor my gifts and my light during this time? Where can I express gratitude from the heart? This is happening on September 11th through to the 13th, and we have the Page of Cups. Oh my God, I love this. Okay, so the acknowledgement is really important because you've received with the Wheel of Fortune, there's been some kind of plan, building, that kind of thing. Well, now we have the creativity that's coming through. And didn't I say at the beginning of this new moon cycle that it was going to have a component of creativity? I think I said creativity and vision setting. So Page of Cups says, okay, now I've acknowledged that I've received all of these things. I've expressed with gratitude. And now that creativity is coming through. So I need to make use of this creativity. Also, we have a koi fish, that's sitting in her teacup. Koi fish is luck. So I feel like that Wheel of Fortune energy, that luck, that liquid luck is carrying through because it's still liquid luck that you're able to utilize. Pages are all about that newness, the fresh start, the researching. Is this something that's even viable, right? It's kind of like an ace. The page energy is like an ace. It's that pure potential. Well, now let me play in that pure potential a little bit and see if it's something that I want to explore further. And if so, how? How can I do that? I'm really drawn to the sun in this card, and I feel like there may be some interesting solar flares during this window of time that could affect our technology, that could affect our weather patterns, and weather systems. So I'm also getting kind of an added hit about, it feels like needing to stay indoors, or if you are being outside, sunscreening yourself. From a technology perspective, maybe protecting your technology, maybe it's not having everything plugged in all the time. Sometimes we can get those surges that happen and it blows out the technology. There's just something coming up and coming through around that. So, just kind of put it, I like to say, put it on the back burner, something for later, just kind of niggle on it a little bit. Okay, now we're at our third quarter moon, and this is September 14th through the 17th. I claim What is being completed in my life at this time? How can I connect to its release with conviction? Ooh, we've got the 9 of coins. So interesting. This is a card of gratitude. Hello. Yes, Mr. Morpheus is acknowledging that it is about gratitude. So when we are recognizing that we have come full circle, or we are recognizing that there is an opportunity for us to grow, to expand, we want to acknowledge that. We want to say, yes, thank you. I'm so grateful to be where I'm at right now. I would not be where I'm at right now had it not been for all of these other things. And if we go back to the beginning of the cycle, we were talking about priorities and what it is that we're releasing. We're releasing the past. We're releasing contracts that we have agreed to, things that we have signed on to that are connected to that old world energy, so that we can be very clear and present with what the priority is right now and how we're going to move towards that particular priority, or to get where it is that we need to be. 9 of coins says, all right, there is the end of a cycle. The end of something that is, I want to say, tangible and physical. And I want to say, I'm hearing the word celebration around this. So this doesn't feel like a tower ending. This feels more like, okay, finally we have completed a particular cycle. There's celebration around this. There's also awareness of, okay, there's work ahead. But let's just take a moment to pause and breathe and to acknowledge how far we've come as a collective, as a society, in our own individual lives. How far have we come? It's not about, oh my God, I've got so much further to go. Life is a journey. We're always going to have those feelings. We're always going to have something more, something further to do, right? That's just the nature of it. I think that's what keeps us going, quite frankly. But this is the acknowledgement of, okay, something has come to an end. Let's celebrate that. And let's not worry about tomorrow in this moment right now. Let's be present with the ending. Let's process this. Let's integrate it. Let's acknowledge it and take it in. Let's claim our victory. Even though this isn't a victory card, let's claim our victory. We had the 6 of Wands. Now we're in that 9 of Coins energy. There's going to be a lot to process. I feel like collectively there's going to be a reflection. There's going to be a lot of acknowledgement of maybe rights and wrongs, or of goods and bads. But it's that reflection in regards to, okay, here we are. We're still standing. We're still breathing. And, I'm not going to judge whether or not I'm happy about it or sad about it. The bottom line is I'm still here. What do I want to do with that information? I want to celebrate for now. I can worry about the other stuff tomorrow. Now is the time to just take a break. So I feel a lot of that energy. And in your own lives, I feel like this is also going to be a particular period of time where you put aside the to-do and you step into this is what it means to be alive. A connection to the sensual, connection to the senses, things of the body, the reason that we are human, in that human body, having that human experience. Now we have our Balsamic moon, and this is I surrender. What energy can I lean into to fly free into this new version of me? What can I consider as I embrace this opportunity to know myself anew? This is happening on September 18th through to the 20th. Here we go. 2 of Swords. Interesting. So the fact that it's an I surrender and we're getting a sword card makes a lot of sense. 2 of Swords, I like to say, is the shit sandwich card. It's the choice between shit sandwich A and shit sandwich B. I would rather not eat a shit sandwich. But in order for me to move forward, I have to make a choice. I gotta just get her done in order to get on the other side and get going and flowing and growing. And I feel like that's what this is about. And that's where the surrender is. The surrender is, okay, I really wish this wouldn't have happened. I wish that these weren't the choices that I was faced with. But these are the choices I'm faced with. I can sit here and stew. I can sit here and cry over spilled milk. Or I can, and I go back to our Eight of Wands energy and that balancing energy that we've been talking about at the beginning of the cycle. And I can say, in order for me to align and to feel balanced at my core, to feel re-centered, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to do. This is the decision that I am facing. So choose the A or the B. And I want to say there's no wrong choice here. It's just, this is one of those things where it's like, okay, I got to just get through the choice. Make the choice, let it be what it is, and move on. And yes, you can learn from the choice. There's always something to learn. But I don't feel like you need to be putting the focus on what is it I'm here to learn. The option here is just make the choice and get through it. You'll figure things out on the other side. But I'm also hearing the word procrastination. This is a time where you don't want to procrastinate. You don't want to allow that procrastination energy to cause you that analysis paralysis to get stuck. Because really you're just delaying the inevitable and you're going to have regrets on the other side. Because you're going to say, God, like I could have been doing this sooner. Like I could have gotten through this sooner had I just made the choice, just made the decision. I want to say there's no right choice here and there's no wrong choice here. And if you're going to look for the right choice or the choice that allows, everybody to have a happy ending, you're going to just be stuck in a loop and you'll be left behind. So this is, again, putting yourself first in your own life, making yourself the priority, your needs the priority, not because you're stepping on other people, because you're recognizing I don't have energy to be able to save the whole world. So I save myself because I'm putting the mask on myself, because then that means that I will have energy to potentially be able to save the whole world. I just can't do it right now, given the resources I have. I have to get onto the other side of this, and then I will have more option to be able to acknowledge how I can help others. I feel like that's the message. That's the big message that's coming through. And we are now at our dark moon or our void moon card. And this is not part of the, I want to say the scientific cycle of the moon. It is more energetic in nature, but it is a connection of release. What are we releasing control of or walking away from, knowing it has served its purpose? How can we remain open to the new and unknown in the process? So again, it's an I release card, and it's happening on September 19th. And we have the Eight of Swords. Wow. So a lot of, I want to say, complementary cards. We had the Eight of Wands at which is our soul card. We have the Eight of Swords here. We've had a lot of wands, a lot of swords that are coming through. There's a lot that's going on. So the Eight of Swords, this is entrapment, and it's also the liberation that comes on the other side of it. And I feel like when we are releasing, what we are releasing here is we are releasing this idea that we are entrapped or beholden to anyone or anything. I really feel that this is a card that reminds people of their own power. Something that I've been hearing a lot coming through the astrology is we the people. That is the energy that we are in. And that's what I'm feeling this card is talking about, symbolizing, is that we the people energy. I feel like this is going to be a time when people rise up and recognize their own power. We no longer have to be beholden to somebody else. We no longer are entrapped in someone else's motives, in someone else's story. We have woken from the dream, and we are now recognizing our own power, and that it's okay for us to put our motives first. Our motives as a collective, and also our motives as individuals. And if you're heart-led, as we talked about before, if there's a heart-led energy and you're bringing in that beautiful Virgo doggedness, right? The details, you're going to be successful. It's inevitable. Again, another Eight, mastery, the path of mastery, the path of abundance. It is absolutely inevitable, that victory. And that's what this feels like. So I want to say I'm talking a lot about entrapment, but really it's liberation. We the people feel liberated because we are coming together and acknowledging our own power. I really feel that, and again, not to make this a political reading, just to acknowledge, like, the whole world is upside down right now. The whole world is dealing with all sorts of things that we didn't think we would ever have to see in our lifetimes. And yet here we are. That Eight of Swords is coming up and coming through to acknowledge that we are in a cycle that is coming to an end, a full stop, so that we take our power back, so that we can bring things more in balance and alignment, so that the priorities of the people are met. And we can do that individually in our own lives and mirror that out into the collective as well. When we are heart-led and heart-driven, when we are doing things from that heart perspective, it's the ripple effect, and it affects everyone else whose lives we touch. And that is the focus. Wow. All right. So that is our new moon for the August 22nd. And it has been, as always, so great to be able to connect with you guys today. If you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube channel. Please feel free to share this content with anyone else that you feel could benefit from this type of guidance. It's one of my, I want to say, my dreams, goals, and desires to grow this channel so that I can be of service to anyone who feels called or drawn to, or just needing some guidance in this area, and that it's something that I can provide. So I am grateful to you guys for helping me with that dream of mine. And feel free to reach out if you need some help with your dreams as well, because I would love to be of service in that way. Thanks so much, guys. It's going to be an incredible one. We will see you on the flip side. Transform well. For those of you who are new to me, here's a quick little breakdown on how to make this reading work for you. The new moon cycle works where it moves in 3.5 basically days throughout that 28-day cycle. So sometimes you're in a phase a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. It is not linear. But what I do is I give you dates connected to each of the phases of the new moon cycle so that you can come back to the video after you've watched the whole thing, you've taken it all in, you come back to that video for those particular times so that you understand, okay, I'm in, the waxing crescent phase, and what do I need to know about that? What is transpiring in my world right now? And this information is really helpful because it's giving me perspective on what it is I need to learn, or maybe I need to pull back, or maybe I need to lean in a little bit more. So use this. It's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. Use it throughout the month to support you.